What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Gumby and the Goobers. Brian, how are we doing? Ready for Thanksgiving?
I am excited. Thanksgiving is probably my favorite holiday because it's the three F's. It's family, it's football, and it's food. Every year before Thanksgiving, when I first wake up, I weigh myself every morning to see how many pounds I can gain on a daily basis during Thanksgiving. I think my record is around 6 pounds. I go ham and eat a lot of turkey. So I'm excited to talk about the last couple weeks. We actually had our bye week last week. We forgot to mention that to everyone that we decided to every NFL team gets a bye. We decided to give ourselves a bye as well. So thank you, for those that understand. Tuna, what's going on? Thanks for hopping in the stream. And yeah, excited to talk some Thanksgiving NFL 3-game slates.
What's good, Tuna? I don't know if you saw, but during our bye week, your boy won the main BR.
Who?
Chip?
No.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man. Every time I do a draft, I do like 5 drafts. It's amazing. I do like 5 drafts every week on average, and I always feel like I go against Chip, and I always like his team more than mine. And so I'm not surprised that he won because he just always seems to just get those teams that I somehow desire.
Yeah. Mitch said, your bye week and I take 5th in the Wildcat. How'd you do, Gumby? I did like 4 lineups. I did 3 in the main BR and 1 in the dog bowl. I min cashed the dog bowl, and I don't think I cashed a single BR. How'd you do last week, Brian?
The last 2 weeks, like this past week and the week prior, were funny enough my 2 best weeks. I did in the Wildcat, I did 5 lineups, 4 of them cashed, which was pretty exciting. I had Taysom Hill in 4 of my 5 lineups when he had like 38 points, and I had Amon-Ra as my number 1 overall player on the week. So I had Amon-Ra, Goff, and Taysom Hill basically stacked in 4 of my 5 lineups, which I know is not good, but when you only do like a handful of lineups every week, I find that it's better to just draft the players you want, because if they hit, you're great, and if they don't, what are you going to do?
I mean, diversifying isn't inherently bad. It depends, because like you said, if you're only doing a couple lineups, it's better to just like hammer your spots and take the guys who you think are the best. But
Yep.
like just diversifying, like it actually like lowers your expected value, but like it's lowering your expected value to lower your to increase your floor. Like it kind of like takes your range of
Right.
outcomes like this to like this.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like in my limited drafts that I do every week, my goal is not to have a team that's in the middle of the pack. Like if I look at it and my team has like 40 points or 130, like I would rather have that range of outcomes than 2 teams that have around 75 points to 85 points a week.
Right. Yeah. No, it's definitely the way to play it too. So do you want to let's break down the first slate, or the Thanksgiving slate?
I like it. Also, before we jump into the Thanksgiving slate real quick, I will just specify, or I will just want to clarify, I am self-proclaimed very good at these 3-game main slates. The draft that I did, what I was talking about that I didn't get to last week, this past week, I wound up doing I don't even know what tournament this is, the 2-minute drill, 4-person drafts, just the 4 o'clock and 4:30 games. My team going into the 4th quarter was in 9th place, which was super exciting. Wound up finishing 36th place. So it could have been better. I had Gino and the JSN stack and Ken Walker. So if Walker scores a touchdown or Gino throws another to JSN, it could have been even more interesting. But I find these 3-game slates very fun to analyze.
Yeah, I think because so many of these players are so close in projection, it really does come down to ball knowing a bit, and like it's like knowing drafts and like also like knowing ball. So
for sure.
All right, what do you think about the quarterbacks?
Quarterbacks for me, Jordan Love is I have Jordan Love slightly above the second quarterback. My second quarterback in my own projections, funny enough, is actually Cooper Rush. I think that Giants team is defeated. As a Giants fan, I know they're defeated. They're just I can just Cooper Rush has actually looked better the more he's played. Although his ADOT is kind of concerning. I think that the Cowboys will be able to do whatever they want to the Giants. So I think Jordan Love should be the number 1 quarterback. Cooper Rush is my number 2. I'm pretty much totally fading Tua this week. He's going to be going in Lambeau, 20-degree weather. I'm a weather bro. If you guys were here from the best ball drafts, Tua in his career, 40 degrees or lower, he's 0-7. He is not somebody that plays well in cold temperatures. So I would not be surprised at all if Tua
You don't
and the
think that's
Dolphins.
just noise, really?
No, 0-7. Come on, man. Again, like the last game we had Tua in like 40-degree or lower weather was against the Chiefs, and he looked awful. And he had a fantastic year the year prior. And Tyreek Hill was actually a meaningful contributor on the offense during that time, and they still couldn't do anything. So no, I'm out on the Dolphins this week. I have the only player I like is the only player I like is Achane, just because I think they're going to be able to move the ball against Green Bay on the ground, but I do not expect much to happen in the air.
Yeah, so sorry. Basically, the dynamic of these drafts, I like as someone who's done zero, I know exactly how these drafts are going to play out. That was a joke. Jordan Love, Jared Goff, Tua, and Caleb Williams are going to go drafted every single time, 100%, not every single time, 95% of the time. It's going to be those 4 quarterbacks. So if you have a strong conviction on Cooper Rush, you should be taking him a shit ton.
I do. I have, yeah. The couple drafts that I've done the last couple days and today, it's been Cooper Rush builds, and it's been a lot of Caleb Williams builds. The Caleb Williams builds that I really enjoy. I don't know if this is smart or not. I haven't really thought through it too much yet. I've been getting a lot of Caleb Williams, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, and then a Cole Kmet and Keenan Allen like double stack. If that game becomes a shootout and it just, Detroit can do whatever they want on the ground, which is kind of what I expect. That's where you attack this Chicago defense is on the ground. I would not be surprised if Gibbs, Montgomery have, 3 combined touchdowns between them, and Caleb Williams has to start throwing the ball deep just to catch up with the Lions.
Yeah, and so Nerdy Tenor did some good work. He's a professional DraftKings player, and he does a bunch of stuff with sims. He was kind of the first player to publicly say he was doing all these weird simulations and daily fantasy stuff. And he ran the sims for this week for Underdog and said that only 14% of the time are unstacked quarterbacks optimal in his stuff, which is a lot lower than the normal bigger slates. Usually it's 50% because there's so many more options to get the nuts.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I haven't, in the drafts that I've done so far, there hasn't been a time where I didn't at least single stack a quarterback with some of the position players.
Yeah, and it also kind of depends what everyone else is doing, right? So if you're in every draft, if people are stacking 99% of the time, then I'll throw some shots at some unstacked teams. But if it's going to be hard for people to stack every time, I think, just the way the drafts play out. So I'm going to go and trying to stack every single time.
Yeah, I agree. Do you have a specific a lean at quarterback before we jump into running back?
I mean, if everyone's going to fade Tua because of weather, I'll take him every single time in the last round.
I think Tua is he's just not somebody that I would want this week. He had a great week last week. It was a layup matchup. It was in a controlled environment. Lambeau Field is not an easy place to play, especially when it's going to be 20 degrees. I don't know if you remember the last time we saw Tua in this, like I said, against Kansas City, he looked like he was getting ready to go camp on top of Mount Everest for about a month with what he was wearing. He is not going to be comfortable in that environment at all. And we just saw Green Bay, what they did to San Francisco. Obviously I know it was without Purdy, but still, it's not a defense that's a schmuck. So we'll see. I'm that's my stance this week, is that I'm pretty low on the Dolphins passing game.
Yeah, I don't know. Can't get me to be a weather bro. I think it's stupid. Running back, you have a ball knower take on Achane, Gibbs, Jacobs. Anyone standing out to you?
Achane is probably my highest projected. I know it's counterintuitive, but like I said, I think they're just going to be able to run the ball a lot. And if Tua does get there, which I'd be shocked if he does, I think a lot of it is going to be short, screen passes around the line of scrimmage to Achane. So I expect him to have a pretty big receiving game. Jahmyr Gibbs is interesting with the Montgomery injury. I think I saw Montgomery got in a limited practice today, so that's a little bit less exciting. But like I said, the way to attack Chicago is on the ground. So doing a double Detroit running back stack is kind of I would imagine that's not very common. So if it does hit, you're going to be in a very, very good spot. So that's kind of my lean. And my one specific player take here is that Rico Dowdle. I said this to Eric yesterday. He can attest to it. I texted him yesterday. I was building out my rankings and projections. Rico Dowdle projected as my running back 3 at 14.5 points. And what do you know? We get ETR rankings a little while ago. Rico Dowdle, running back 3. I took him as the last round in all of my drafts that I've done, and I am very excited about it.
Yeah, well, get ready to learn second round Rico Dowdle. So never
Really?
never
You think
again.
he'll go that high?
Oh yeah, ADP is done after ETR comes out. It's just it's not real.
Well, ADP is not even real in this draft.
Yeah, there's no ADP.
So that to me is an edge as well if you're drafting, even with your own rankings, just to have.
Are you fading Swift? I'm personally not. I'll take some of Swift, some of Roshan, but I don't think it's not a position for me where I'm gonna have like 0.
They're just, but you're short circuiting me there. Detroit is like the toughest defense to run against. And I expect, and I'm sure you do too, Detroit to be able to do what they want against Chicago at home. I don't know how Swift is going to get that involved to have meaningful fantasy points. If anything, I would want to have like the receivers or Cole Kmet because they're going to have to throw the ball. I think Swift could get easily game scripted out of this game.
Yeah, I don't know. I still like Tracy. If people are going to fade him because Eric Ray was getting snaps last week because he fumbled, I will be all over Tyrone Tracy.
Yeah, see, you and I differ there. I think Dable.
What else is new?
No, well, seriously, like Dable said that Devin Singletary is going to get more snaps because he needs to make sure that they don't turn the ball over. They have enough time moving the chains as it is. They don't need to give the ball over on fumbles. So I understand why you like Tracy, but I just don't know especially with like Tommy DeVito out, and you don't know if Drew Lock is going to play. Like that offense is just not someone that I really want to touch.
Don't check who has more fumbles this year between them. All right, moving on to receiver. Amon-Ra is questionable. I think
he'll play.
Locked to play. And then ETR has CeeDee Lamb and Amon-Ra basically at the same projection. To me, that feels like such an easy Amon-Ra smash every single time over CD, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't know ball.
You definitely don't know ball, but you don't claim to, so that's fine. Here's the reason why. The Lions offense, like I said, is so like you can have Gibbs score, you could have Montgomery score, Laporta might accidentally score, J-Mo could catch a long touchdown. It's very spread out. It's not concentrated like it is with Lamb. And Lamb is playing against a JV football team that claims to be in the NFL. I think you're severely discounting the matchup against Lamb compared to Amon-Ra. So I also had CeeDee Lamb as my highest wide receiver this week. A couple of other interesting scroll downs. I do like J-Mo just for that big play potential, and I think he's a good leverage play against Amon-Ra, who's going to get drafted in every single draft. And I also think that Dontavian Wicks will bring it back to 2 months ago when people actually liked Dontavian Wicks. Without Romeo Doubs playing, Wicks is going to play about 80% of the snaps. I think Watson is going to be the deep play guy, but Wicks is still very explosive. Let's not forget what he can do and what he's done in the past. He has that big 2-touchdown, 150-yard upside. So again, if you want to punt the wide receiver in like the last round, I think Dontavian Wicks is a great play to be able to do that.
Paid says was tracking ADP in my own personal lobbies. Honestly, that's really smart. I definitely should do that. And Dowdle closed at 14.7 after 50 drafts, most of them yesterday. Yeah, I would just completely throw that out because ETR came out today. So
that's interesting. I'm going to look at the drafts that I had done just to see where I picked him. What about you, Eric? What about what specific, what do you think about the wide receiver position? Yeah,
Romeo Doubs is definitely not playing.
No.
Like I said, I think Amon-Ra is the pick. If people want to get cute and take Tyreek Hill or CeeDee Lamb, I will just take Amon-Ra every single time over them. Jameson Williams, yeah, he's fine. I think I like Christian Watson more, to be honest.
Over who?
Not like directly over Jameson Williams, but like just be like the same profile, like similar ceilings. Like I think that and probably Christian Watson's being drafted less. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't done any drafts yet.
I will say though, Jameson Williams this past week had a 36% first read target rate, which is very interesting. That was the same as Amon-Ra's. Christian Watson's was significantly lower than Romeo Doubs. I know Doubs isn't playing, but I do think that Wicks can kind of insert himself to make that a bit more of a spread out type of offense.
Any Bears wide receivers? I mean, I'll be splitting them all up with Caleb Williams stacks. I don't have a strong lean on any of them. I don't think any of them are particularly good plays, especially because Caleb Williams has been rushing more. So, like, if he gets there, he's probably not taking a double stack along with him. So I'm just going to take shots at each one of them.
Yeah, the Bears wide receivers, I think I like Keenan Allen just because he's more of that like short area guy. The Lions do give up a lot to those wide receivers in the middle of the field, and I expect Keenan Allen to pretty much live, right around like the 10, 15 yards downfield in the middle of the field, and that's where you can attack Chicago. So if there is anyone to go after, I would probably want to go Keenan Allen. And then I still like the idea of doing like as I said, Caleb Williams, Gibbs, Montgomery, Keenan Allen, and Cole Kmet, and then insert random Dontavian Wicks there. Like, that's an interesting team to me.
Yeah. Also, J-Mo is good and Watson is not, in my opinion. Yeah, that's definitely a possibility.
It's fair.
Pretty much staying away from Neighbors, though. Yeah, Neighbors is not that exciting to me. I don't know. Like what's his ceiling with Drew Lock and Tommy DeVito?
The only thing that they have that Neighbors has going for him is that he didn't get a target in the first half last week against the Bucks, which was just like incomprehensible. Dable talked to him after the game. I have a feeling this will be like a squeaky wheel game for Neighbors. The problem with that is that he might have 12 catches for 70 yards, and you're not happy with what you could get out of that production if he doesn't score.
I mean, it's a squeaky wheel game, but he's getting throws from a squeaky shoulder.
Right.
This is just so funny to look at. Jonnu Smith is the number one projected tight end.
Is that true though? Or is that just what
what ETR has?
ETR has them?
Or no, that's what Underdog has. ETR has Laporta, like I think it's like half a point above Jonnu.
Okay, that makes sense.
But it's cold weather, so you can't draft Jonnu.
No. Jonnu you can draft. Jonnu and HN would be the only Miami players that I would draft, simply because, again, they're going to be short area targets. I expect Green Bay to get pressure onto it, and I think they're going to have to adjust the game plan to be able to throw a lot of those short area looks. Jonnu Smith, take a guess what percentage he had in terms of the first read look last week.
20.
42. The offense runs through Jonnu and HN, whether we like it or not. I'm serious. They're not a big play team. They don't throw the ball down the field, which is why Tyreek has struggled. Waddle had a very good game last week. Broken clock is right twice a day. Jonnu Smith and Devon Achane are the two players in Miami that I would want.
Yeah. I'm not sure where Jake Ferguson is going in drafts either, but if he's going on like in the last round, I kind of like that. Even though I think he's probably a dog to play, probably like 30% chance of playing.
He's not going to play.
I still don't hate the swap, just in case. Like I doubt like people are taking Schoonmaker with Ferguson still questionable, but I don't know.
Yeah, Ferguson's a good in the drafts that I did. He wasn't getting drafted, so I wound up taking him just as a Q tag swap to get either Schoonmaker, maybe Cole Kmet, depending on how the week goes. But yeah, Ferguson is he's not going to play this week. Like McCarthy already said, it was a long shot to play yesterday, so I don't expect him to play at all.
All right, let's hop in. So a fun thing about the turkey. Holy shit, this is almost full. A fun thing about the turkey is that there's no rake, so 100% of the prize pool going to the players.
Really? Oh, good for you, Underdog. Very good.
Is Devontae Smith playing this week? Not on Thursday.
Not on Thursday, he's not. That's for sure.
Also something, so the reason we have like the 5 running backs higher is because of, it's just simply where I cut off the running backs for my ranks. So I cut it off at Devin Singletary. If you cut it off at like Emmanuel Wilson or Roshan Johnson, the receivers go up a little bit. So it really would be like Gibbs, Achane, and then either Jacobs, Amon-Ra. Probably this is what most of our drafts are going to go like. So
you think Gibbs is going to go 101?
I think so, probably because the Montgomery Q tag, he just is going to get boosted so high if he doesn't play. Even though I think he's going to play.
He's going to play, yeah.
With the risk of him not playing, it's kind of worth it.
That's fair. Yeah, that makes sense. I would have rather taken Gibbs was going at like 103 and 104 in the drafts that I did yesterday. So that to me was more of a smash just because you get that closing line value if Montgomery winds up not being a surprise inactive there.
Right. Yeah. So this guy PS Smooth, he's big in the hoop streets. He always he always like will stack like the first game of the night and get first place for like the first like 25 minutes.
That's so funny.
Legend.
Okay, so he does go Gibbs. Looks like he might be using ETR. Gibbs, Achan. So to me, this is probably a Jacobs pick, and then hope we get Amon-Ra or CD on the way back. Or unless you want to take Amon-Ra so because there are more running backs available.
Well, I would say probably Amon-Ra, and then we can probably get Rico.
I'm okay with that.
Almost fully going to the players. Yeah, most of it's going to be going to me, though.
It's going to be happening on this draft. Jacobs, Montgomery goes.
So up to you if we want to do Rico or CD. My ranks would say Rico.
Yeah, I mean, just at the position scarcity, Rico's the pick for sure. Yeah. Wow, I looked at my drafts, by the way. I in the drafts that I did where I took Rico, I got him on average pick 23.
Are you like tracking that like in a spreadsheet?
No, I could just click on the player and see it was pick 23.
Really?
Oh yeah. If you go to completed drafts and then look at your teams, and then it'll show like on the right what they're projected for. It'll say like pick number whatever along like next to the side of the player's name.
Oh wow, I never knew that.
That's what I find interesting too when I see like people won who they drafted and where. I find that fascinating.
We're coming up next.
So who do we have so far? Wow, that's crazy.
And Amon-Ra.
So do you want this to be a Laporta and Jared Goff team?
I think we should take Laporta and then either Tracy or Swift. If you have a lean, either one.
Okay.
But I mean, maybe we should just lock up the Goff stack too.
If we don't get Goff now with Amon-Ra, the team's dead and Laporta.
But I mean, we could still like backstack with like Cooper Rush.
I love Cooper Rush this week.
I think we should go with the running back and try and push it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, how many people are probably going to draft Goff without the two Lions players on the team?
Well, I mean, also the problem is that like because Rico Dowdle was going so late, we just took him at pick fucking 6. Like we're competing with teams that get him late. So like if we take an early Rico Dowdle, we probably have to push like the other players.
Interesting that
super team backwards.
No quarterbacks drafted yet. I just find that interesting.
Yeah, that's the way when there's no like quarterback who separates. It's actually funny because like my stuff will say the opposite of what like whereas like if there's one or two elite quarterbacks, like my stuff will say to take them in like the second round usually in these small slates.
Right.
But like people will still try and push them and like I'll end up with like 70% Hurts or something.
Interesting. Yeah, I could see that happening though. Like if you believe that Jordan Love is going to outscore everyone like the field by 5 points, like he should be probably going at like by 103 at the latest.
Yeah, and like I said, I feel like people just don't do that in these drafts where like because we're so conditioned to like just push quarterback.
This guy fucking takes Goff. Unbelievable.
With Gibbs. Can we get a Tyrone Tracy smash week? I would love that so much. My best ball bags would be so live.
Our team, best ball team that we did, if you guys want to see what the team is, go back and watch our second ever video, our first live stream. We drafted a team, and it is in first place, looking pretty good right now. So,
quarterback and receiver.
I mean, we could do Jordan Love, and I mean, do you want a game stack? Is that the goal?
I think we should do one of these two, Caleb and Keenan, or Love and Watson.
I'm okay with either of them. I probably would go the Bears just because I think the Bears are gonna have to push to score.
Neil, shout out to you. Didn't realize I wasn't already subscribed. 200. Let's go. Appreciate it.
Let's go. Thank you all for 200 subscribers. Super exciting.
Hell yeah.
Appreciate all the support. Let's go. When we get to 500, I'll do a giveaway. I don't know what that giveaway is yet. I'll give away my time for free. How's that?
Give away a game worn gloves you wore while drafting teams in the streets.
Ooh, great idea. Let's look at that team. Okay.
Come on.
because I think it's interesting. Like these three game slates, I find like very intriguing. So if you click on the right, like you can see where you took each player.
That's shocking information.
You never knew. How long have you been playing this? And you don't
Well,
know
I
that?
know, like you could see it on the leaderboards. I didn't know you could see it on your old teams.
Click it on your team. Did you see it? Okay,
Yeah.
wait. So we have, okay, there you go. So we have Caleb stacked with Keenan Allen, Rico and Tyrone Tracy, with Amon Ra and Laporta. This team is not exciting because I think if Amon Ra and Laporta get there, you're going to have Goff to make it matter.
I don't necessarily think that's true.
You don't?
No.
What about the fact that we have running backs in the same game against each other? That has to be negatively correlated.
Yeah, it's like very minorly negatively correlated. I like in these 3-game slates, I would just throw that all out the window. It like correlation just like if you have like 0.05 negative correlation, that's like basically nothing.
Okay. All right. I'm just trying to think through. I feel like I'm getting smarter about like how I'm approaching the drafts and like instead of drafting just players I like, drafting it for the story I'm telling with the team I have drafted. So that's why I think it's important to just kind of analyze this high level before we go into the next one.
Are we woke to Theo Johnson around here? Absolutely.
Oh, Rohan, you must be new because
you must be new. I say to draft Theo Johnson every week in every slate. Doesn't matter. It's always Theo Johnson week.
After week 3, Eric's been on the train of the usage for Theo Johnson is just off the charts. We have to draft him every week. It's the same thing. And you know what? He's actually not wrong. Theo Johnson could accidentally score a touchdown if someone throws the ball downfield more than 3 yards.
I just almost instinctively joined a hoops draft. Slightly new, but I'm so Theo Johnson pilled. Yeah, I mean, like, here's the thing. How do you watch the first preseason game, right? You see it first play of the game, we get a Theo Johnson tight end screen. Like, how are we not every time drafting this guy in the last round?
I don't know.
Yeah,
well,
so this is one of those drafts. Winners not being drafted in here. We got Pete, who's been crushing this year, Bacon, who won NBA a couple days ago, and this guy, T. Pastello, who's pretty good too.
I'm curious who Pete goes 101. Is he more of a projections? Is he a projections bro or a ball knower?
He's kind of a good blend. Like he doesn't do anything until projections come out, but like he's also not like me where it's like only projection and no ball knowing.
Gotcha. So who, after doing a draft, I know it's kind of hard to say because it happens so quickly, but is there a certain player or position that you like to scroll down for? Like I don't think Dontavian Wicks got drafted, and I think he's probably going to project for right around the same as like a Jameson Williams, who I would imagine is getting drafted like 60 to 70% of the time.
Yeah, I still think the best way to scroll down is probably for these two, Cooper Rush and Tommy DeVito. Just because like it's so uncomfortable to click them, like no one's going to do it. But like Pico's HN, by the way.
Yep.
What do you want to do here? Jacobs, Amon Ra. We did Amon Ra last time, right?
We did Amon Ra, yeah.
Did Jacobs then?
Okay. I think Jacobs, if the game script in my head at least goes how I expect it to, I think the Green Bay is just going to have to run out the clock. And I think Jacobs, we saw what he just did last week when he did that. 3 touchdowns.
Wicks, Rome, and Slayton have all tickled my fancy. Is it a Slayton week, Brian?
Not a Slayton week, no. They don't throw the ball downfield. He didn't play that many snaps this past week. I was kind of disappointed with Slayton's usage because I've been a big Slayton fan for 5 years.
Yeah. I mean, you called the 1 week he had 100 and a touchdown.
I did, and I haven't said it since because he hasn't profiled to do that since.
It's fair. All right, so we get Amon Ra. Right, that's who you want over CD?
No, I wanted Lamb. But if you want Amon Ra, take Amon Ra. We can get Lamb later.
I mean, if people are taking like this feels incorrect. David Montgomery and Rico Dowdle at the turn. I don't know.
Yeah,
I haven't thought about it enough, but that feels wrong.
That's definitely wrong. How do you draft David? Like, there's just other running backs that should go ahead of Montgomery, and I would never take Montgomery in the like 4th overall passing like Amon Ra and CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's wrong. Yes, but Rohan, to answer your question, Wicks also tickles my fancy. Slayton, not so much. Rome, again, he's the air yards king. Gets so many air yards, does not convert them into not really him. Caleb's kind of off target when he throws it to him the last couple of weeks, but the usage is there for sure. It's just you got to catch those like deep shots.
I mean, Tyron Tracy comes right back to us. This guy's a running back, so we can push running back. All right. Do you want Laporta?
We could do it. We can make it a Green Bay stack. We could do like Jordan Love and Wicks or something, or Tucker Kraft.
All right, I could be convinced.
I think what's going to win this week, honestly, is probably a double stack with the quarterback. I don't know what the numbers would say, but that's what I would guess.
You said your projections like Christian Watson, but you haven't really mentioned him yet.
I like Christian Watson, but I like Christian Watson's probably going to get drafted more than Wicks, and I have Watson and Wicks projected for the same amount. So I just think Wicks. I like Wicks more just simply because of the leverage.
So probably Tracy here, and then we take whatever Green Bay guy falls.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Yeah,
big fall.
I mean, if Tracy is just going to go in the 4th round, I might have 100%.
Yeah, you and I disagree on him, like we said at the top of the show. But hey, if you're right, then you're getting potential, top 3 running back production in round 4, and that is great value if it happens. I'm really concerned about a snap share.
Yeah, and you can see like in the sharp rooms, like the quarterbacks and tight ends fall a lot.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think I was just scarred from the last draft where we had 2 Lions players, and then this guy fucking takes, Jared Goff to stack with Skinny with Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah, I also want to take note of like how many people are taking stacked quarterbacks too, just like to mentally know if we should be doing that or
every one of them.
If everyone's doing it,
every single person is taking one.
Pico's Jonnu, little tight end run going. Jonnu and Tua.
Jonnu and Tyreek.
The triple with
yeah.
Etienne, Tyreek, Jonnu.
Enjoy the donation.
So we're on the clock. Team.
No, no. Miami in the cold is not good. So we should probably go Kraft if you want tight end, just because this other guy has 2 running backs. And
do we want Kraft? I kind of just want to take.
Do you want to take Schoonmaker? Or do you want to take the Q tag with Ferg?
Kind of want. Oh, is Ferg still there? All right,
yeah.
Let's take Berg. Do the Swapski.
I'm good at that.
Because here's the thing: ETR has they have him projected out. Ferguson, what's Schoon's projection?
Probably 6. We're on the clock also.
6.1.
To me, this is either Watson or Wicks. I would go Wicks just because he's less. It's a higher leverage play for a player that I think is going to be projected for the same.
I mean, I think they're both the same kind of thing. It's,
that's what I mean.
Got to catch deep bomb or got to take one after catch.
So we've done a couple drafts, and this one we can pop out and talk about. I'm curious what you think on the 1-2-2-1 build. Is it a 1-1-3-1 build? What do you think makes the most sense? The teams that I drafted, I have 1, 2, 3. I have 4 of my teams as a 1-1-3-1 build, and 2 of them 1-2-2-1.
Yeah, I'd want to get as many 2 running back builds as possible, to be honest.
I think it's just because you like Tyrone Tracy so much.
Yeah, I mean, he's good at football, and he's going to get 70% snaps again. What's there not to like?
But do we know he's going to get that many snaps? This is a big... Tyrone Tracy is the linchpin to the success of your future drafts, because if you're wrong on him, all the teams are dead.
That's fine.
Okay
with that. Pete takes Cavante Turpin. I just don't know.
That's too much of a scroll the F down for me.
I don't think I'm ever going to get there.
Yeah.
40K entries, 3 games. How do we like creating leverage besides scrolling? Naked Love speaks to me a little. See, Naked Love is an interesting one because he's so easy to stack. Because we got Wicks going late, we got Watson going late, Kraft going late. That is anyone really taking him naked? I know we just talked about how Nerdy has only 14% of teams naked that are optimal, but I mean, if everyone's stacking Love, so here's the way to think about it, right? Someone said this too. If you were the only team with naked Love, would you do that?
If I was what?
If there was only one team allowed in the tournament that was Love naked without a stack, would you want that team?
Sure.
Right. So what's the point of how many naked Love teams are there before you don't want it anymore? That's kind of what you have to think about.
That's fair. My thought on the leverage, and I'll say it again, I've said it twice. but I'll repeat myself to answer the question because I really think this is the week to do it. Drafting both those Lions running backs if you can. If Montgomery somehow falls, I don't think he'll go 104 and the next draft we do. If you can get like Gibbs, Montgomery, you get Caleb in the bring back and the correlation on the game stack, and then you get a Keenan Allen or Roma Dunze, and then insert random piece on different team. Like I think that's how you're gonna. I think that is a team that would probably be very unique and one that I think could like make some noise at the top of the leaderboard.
But like my only argument against that is like if someone's doing that, the Detroit running backs, they're probably gonna also do the game stack if they know what they're doing, or like
they should.
But like, is that really worth it to like have that many more teams you're competing against with like a 0.1 correlation factor? Like, I don't think it's real. Like, you don't need to go Chicago there. I think just getting those two players is unique, and then do whatever you want after.
Oh, you think just that part? My argument would just be like, if Gibbs and Montgomery score, 3 combined touchdowns, like I said, then that means that Caleb is going to have to be forced to throw the ball. So I would want Caleb just because if he's.
I don't think that's true.
You don't think so?
I mean, if they just like run all over them, like it's if they're running that much, aren't they probably smashing them?
Yeah, but when Chicago gets the ball, they're going to have to air it out. That's my point. I don't know. We'll see. It's either way. Creating leverage to answer the direct question, I think drafting both Lions running backs if you can is a very interesting way to get a unique combination.
Sup guys? When we throw in Daniel Jones going away party, that we'll throw that party as soon as I actually win an NFL slate,
or after Daniel Jones signs.
Yeah, easy GM. I have 50% Tracy, and I'm over the field on unstacked quarterbacks. Yeah, I'm not sure about that one.
Interesting.
I have to think about. I have to do more drafts. And like I said, I want to see how many people are stacking. Detroit could just smoke them, 10-point favorites. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Like
Detroit has the highest implied point total this week. When I checked, it was I think it was 29-19 was and they had the most points on the slate. Cowboys second most points on the slate. And I was talking about this with Eric before the stream. If ETR has Rico Dowdle projected as running back 3, which I agree with, and CeeDee Lamb as wide receiver 1, how the hell is Cooper Rush projected as the quarterback 5? Like where are the points coming from? Are they going to be end around touchdowns from Lamb? And is Rico just going to rush for 2 touchdowns? Like, I don't get how they get there without Cooper Rush projecting higher.
Yeah, like I mean, they have to have it some way, but I tend to agree. I think that logically follows, and especially like if Pete Overzet's if his brain is telling him that Kevontae Turpin, that means that Cooper Rush must be an absolute fucking smash.
Cooper Rush has looked much better. We'll take HN here if you want. Yeah, I like that pick. I don't know. I before the projections were released, I was, as you know, Eric, I was like, the Cowboys are my favorite matchup this week. Like Cooper Rush, Rico Dowdle, CeeDee Lamb, like that's the core 3 that I think will win the week personally.
So I'm just for reference, right? So I'm looking at what SaberSim has the correlation factor between Caleb Williams and Jahmyr Gibbs, right? They're actually negatively correlated. So is David Montgomery. They're negative 0.04.
Really? We're on the clock right now. We have HN. Do you want Montgomery or do you want Rico? Or a different position entirely? I'm on Raw, Lamb, and Tyreek all went.
I think Montgomery.
Okay.
So yeah, like that's actually it's probably, if I had to guess, it's probably different if they both go off, but I have to think about it. I don't know.
We've seen them go off multiple weeks. Like it's not like I'm just saying like, oh, draft Emmanuel Wilson and Josh Jacobs. Like
no, I'm talking about Caleb Williams' correlation to those 2 running backs.
Oh, I see. All right,
we're on the clock.
Running wide receivers then now.
Keenan or Reed?
Yeah, I'm good with Keenan.
You prefer Keenan over Reed?
I do. I'm scared of Reed. He's gotten he had like 3 targets last week. He's just not. They're not using him the same way they did in the beginning of the year, and it may change now with Romeo Doubs out. But I don't. I'd rather just draft a guy that's not getting drafted as much. Reed's going in 100% of the drafts, so I won't like him if I especially don't like his usage.
And interestingly, the SaberSim stuff has DJ Moore is by far the highest correlated receiver with Caleb. 0.48 versus Keenan, which is 0.36, and Rome, which is 0.3.
Interesting.
I mean,
So-
this is easy read for me, right?
Okay. Yeah. If I would probably want to go Jonnu, but we can go Reed. So
And then maybe Jonnu on the way back.
and then Tua against my better judgment.
Jonnu goes.
Okay. Montgomery, Keenan Allen, Jaden Reed. Man, are we gonna have another Jordan Love team? Jordan Love, Tucker, Kraft.
I mean, we don't need to get to, Kraft too because we already have Reed, but like we can.
You don't want the double. I think the double stacks are what's going to win the week.
Maybe.
I'm fairly confident that I have double stacks in most of my teams.
Jason says we need to account for the fact that the Giants are tanking. Yeah, that's
totally agree.
I mean, that's true.
Yeah, we're underestimating the matchup that the Cowboys have against the Giants, and we're also on the clock. We could also do a Ferg. If you want to do a Ferg Q tag again, we can just have 100% of Ferg.
We could do Kraft.
I like Kraft. He had a touchdown last week. We know I love Kraft. He's one of my favorite tight ends.
Giants are tanking, and in the NBA, the Brooklyn Nets are supposed to be tanking, and they're doing the opposite. Yeah, that's I don't know. The Nets are weird. Weird team. They should not be winning as much as they are, and they're not even winning a lot. Gentlemen, how much longer will you be on? I don't know, maybe like a half hour.
Yeah, enough to make a meaningful impact in your life for Spooked. So Enjoy the content, sit back, relax, drink a cold one, and win some money with us.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Spooked had a good week a couple weeks ago, but I don't remember. I thought he had a high finish in NFL.
Sweet.
Brandon Cooks sucks and is bad. But I don't even know if he's been clicked. That is ugly. But like, if people are taking Kevontae Turpin over Brandon Cooks, that is just wrong.
Why are we not taking Jalen Tolbert? Jalen Tolbert's actually a guy that's put up meaningful numbers the last couple of weeks. So if you want to scroll down, if you want a direct leverage against Lamb, Kevontae Turpin's not Kevontae Turpin, Jalen Tolbert's the pick there for sure.
I mean, this is crazy. I literally said GM easy, but whatever.
You
Brian,
did, yes.
Easy.
Easy, what's going on? Thanks for hopping in. Appreciate you.
What's good, guys? Also, when Easy said it was a Brian week, it wasn't a Brian week. So,
what does that mean? Which week was that? The last 2 weeks have been right on.
Yeah, but he didn't say it was a Brian week last week. He said it in like week 6.
And you know what? It was probably a Brian week then too.
It might have been. We get the first 101.
101. Yep. Like is this a Gibbs pick for you?
Yeah. Tolbert isn't a bad football player. Are you sure?
I agree. No, Tolbert is not a bad football player.
Are you sure?
I'm sure. Yes, I've watched him play. I watched the games. Are you sure?
Hold on. Let's get some stats up here because I don't want to slander my man if I'm wrong, but I just don't think he's good at football.
I mean, he's not CeeDee Lamb, but he's the number 2 wide receiver. And if we think that game, like it's just funny because everyone's disrespecting the Cowboys this week. And I'm a Giant fan, so I can say this. People are disrespecting the Cowboys. They have the second highest implied team total this week. And it just seems like Cooper Rush hasn't been drafted once yet. It's unbelievable. Where are the points coming from? Unless if CeeDee Lamb has 2 end-around rushing touchdowns and Cooper Rush has 10 points, I'm okay with drafting Rush. And if that's how I lose, like I'm okay with that. I give it up.
Easy says it's always Brian week. Gumby, are you plus minus in NFL? Slightly minus, but that's okay because we have NBA. NBA is the only real season. Gun to head DeVito versus Rush. Probably Rush.
Cooper Rush easy. The only advantage DeVito has is that he does run the ball. So there's more rushing upside for him than Cooper. But I think Rush is going to have at least two, probably 3 touchdowns. I wouldn't be surprised if Rico has a reception or receiving touchdown as well.
I don't think they do. What was this about?
I said that I think the Cowboys have the second highest implied team total on the slate. So who do we have? We have Gibbs.
Gibbs, yep.
Who do you want here? Is this a Tyreek pick?
Probably Tyreek for sure.
Yeah, I'll take Tyreek.
He doesn't project well, but
of course he doesn't. It's them in the cold, but we can take him if you want. We haven't taken him yet.
Personal DMP. Interesting.
We'll
Still
take
take
him. We got 2 picks. Do we want Rico or Tracy? I mean, how many times have we taken Rico so far? Unless you want to take Swift to diversify.
No, I think it's Rico.
I agree.
Gumby, has anyone told you that if you grew a mustache, you would look like Reed Shepherd? No, no one has ever told me that.
I don't know who Reed Shepherd is.
He was on Kentucky last year, basketball player.
Oh, okay. Just by the way, Jalen Tolbert, 40 receptions, 410 yards, and 4 touchdowns so far. Oh, I can see it. Same hairstyle.
Yeah, well, my hair gets long. That's what it looks like.
Wait, was he Kentucky?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So right now our team consists of Jahmyr Gibbs, Tyreek Hill, Rico Dowdle. It's a good start. How can we stack this? We're pretty open right now. I don't think Goff is going to fall. I would imagine he's going to go to the Amon-Ra guy with this next pick, but we'll see. We have options.
We can't take Tua because it's cold, so we can't do the Tyreek stack.
That's correct. I will. I'm telling you now. I know it's stupid. Even if I did 150 of these, I will have 0% Tua. I like 0%. You have to take your stand. If you can eliminate a landmine in a position where there's only 5 other players, like that's a huge advantage.
What if this is a Cooper Rush team?
This is a Cooper Rush team. I was just waiting for you to get there.
Just needed a minute. Need to think about it a bit.
Well, I mean, not to be that guy. If Jonnu falls, I would want to take Jonnu, Tyreek, and Tua at the off chance it's a 50-degree weather game, and hope to God that it gets there.
So we're taking Tua only because the weather report might be wrong.
Only in the hopes of this team, because I would never draft this team if it was 20 degrees today and they were playing a couple hours from now.
Brian building 150 of the same team. Never diversify.
Well, if you can remove a player from your player pool, that is good.
Jonnu falls.
I would go Jonnu.
Jonnu, Tua?
Yeah, this is the only Tua exposure I'll have. So let me say, kids at home, I do not recommend and do not draft Laporta.
And then we need a receiver on the way back.
Yeah, we're fine.
So if we want to scroll, what about Gunnar Olszewski?
Who the hell is that?
The Giants punt returner.
Is that the Polish guy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, not him.
Gumby, who is your one guy to remove from the pool?
Yeah, put him on the spot. I like that easy. Good question.
I'll give you 2. Neighbors
Ooh.
and Montgomery.
Really? That's interesting. I did not expect that. Those like mine's not even a hot take. It's a 20-degree weather cold take. Yours are like 2 players that are going in the top 8 picks of almost every draft that's being done.
My question is, do we think the projections are overcorrecting for Tyreek Hill?
No.
Okay. All right. Good talk. Gumby, revenge game, bro. Who's the revenge game? Oh, Montgomery.
David Montgomery against the Bears.
The projections are not accounting for the revenge game. We need to boost them up.
David Montgomery should be going 1-on-1.
I take it back. It's the only answer is it a CeeDee Lamb revenge game?
No, because he's been on the Cowboys his whole career.
So do we want to just do Keenan here, or do we want to scroll and get weird?
I would like to scroll and get a little weird. Jalen Tolbert. I like Jalen. Now I'm on the Jalen Tolbert train.
Let's go with Keenan Allen because he's good at football. All right, on to the next one.
Respectful.
I like that team, so I didn't want to ruin it with a scroll.
Fair enough. What up, Nez?
Nez,
thanks for hopping in.
Demo, I don't know what that means. Oh, Demont. Monty and Swift. Oh, and Swift.
Ooh, should we make
this changes everything.
Should we make this game this team that we're going to draft like just the running back revenge group? Are you actually moving him up? Oh, that's so funny.
Where's Montgomery? All right.
104. Cool. Yeah, I'd have Montgomery over Swift. I agree.
Any other revenge games easy?
Jonnu Smith, no. He played for the Titans.
All right, let me actually move this back because this is going to bother me. Fuck, where were they?
Montgomery was 4 and Swift was under Tracy.
I'm just going to re-upload.
Easy said that. He said, "I'm not even joking. You have a horrible process if you don't bump Monty 1 point minimum."
But like, here's my thing. Like, that has to be double counting. Like the ETR has to know.
They may know, but, like, if you're a data, I mean, if your job is like data analytics, like, how are you going to say like, oh, he's playing his former team, let's increase the projection? Like, that's something that we would do. Achan falls. Is that who
Yeah,
do you want here?
HN. But like, I remember even like Crutches, who's like actually good at the games. Like he said the week when Barkley was facing the Giants, he was like, yeah, I was taking him 101 just because like revenge game and like they're gonna want to feed him. But like, I mean, like they were right because like Barkley had a good game that week, but like they were wrong because like they asked him, do you want to go in and score another touchdown? He said no. So like, my thesis was right. No one cares.
Fair.
Oh, revenge game. David Montgomery here, right?
I guess so.
You're not committed to the revenge game?
I'm not committed to Montgomery being outsnapped by Gibbs. I don't know. It's hard to these both running backs on Detroit going in the top 5 or 6 picks. Like, it's just someone's going to be disappointed. I feel like we're stepping into a landmine instead of avoiding one. So we can't have a running back. What quarterback do you want? That's what
figure that out
decides
later.
I would probably go wide receiver. I'd probably go Keenan Allen or Jaden Reed if we want him.
Let's go Keenan. Maybe we can get like a Caleb stack, or like I said, we could also do a little Giants stuff. Maybe Theo and DeVito. How many people are gonna have that?
Say again.
What if we do like DeVito and Theo?
No,
Okay.
we could do Theo because I do think he could have an actual decent game, but I don't want to take DeVito at all.
Here's my thing: if you're gonna scroll, shouldn't you be getting something other than just like giving up projection? Like, shouldn't you be getting like correlation?
Yes, you should. Yeah, no, you shouldn't just be scrolling down just to scroll down, especially in only a 3-game slate. Like, I would be scrolling down for a guy like Dontavian Wicks, like I said, if you have Jordan Love and you want to stack him. But like, I wouldn't want to take. I feel like you're sacrificing more projection in DeVito to force a stack that shouldn't ever be a thing.
Maybe. I mean,
and that's true.
Is DeVito even playing?
We don't know.
I would rather have Drew Lock though.
Yeah, that's fair. So we're on the clock. No tight ends have gone off the board yet, which is intriguing. Achan, Montgomery, Keenan Allen. I mean, we can pretty much control how we want this team here. Do you want Laporta here?
Lean on one of these two. ETR has Laporta, so I would say Laporta. But if you have a ball now or a take,
we'll go Laporta just because we took Jonnu last time. I like Jonnu more, but it's not big enough to justify diversifying.
Counterpoint: what percent of Wicks teams have Love versus don't? Probably 90% of Wicks teams have Love. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, that's a good point. And as I was saying before, if you need an extra piece on your team, totally uncorrelated, like Wicks is the type of player that you would want there. Undrafted.
Yeah, that's fair.
Going to be stacked with Love. Like, that's the player you should take as your last wide receiver.
Do you want to do Goff here? I mean, maybe we could do Waff and then Gibbs. Yeah, Waff.
I'll take Gibbs. That. Yeah, I'll take some waffles.
I just used my last 3 picks on Wicks, Tolbert, Rush. That seems a little thin, but I mean, no one's going to dupe you.
It's true.
I'm Galbraithing myself to Rush without Lamb, basically.
That is great. It's a great leverage play because if you have, I'm assuming with Cooper Rush, you're probably going to either draft Rico or Jalen Tolbert or Schoonmaker. So I like it.
I mean, I was just about to say, like, does Rush ever get there without Lamb? But last week he did. So
he did.
Literally last week. What did he get? 20 points?
17 or 18. He had Tolbert and
CD get. Yeah, he only got 11.
Tolbert and Schoonmaker both scored a touchdown. 2 guys that you were shitting on about 15 minutes ago.
No, I'm not gonna. I think Schoonmaker's fine.
Okay.
GM Mark, how we doing?
Nez said that ownership is a lever.
I get that. That's true. I don't know. I guess like if you're gonna scroll, it's fine. It's fine. if you're giving up projection, you're getting ownership discount. So yeah.
So is JMO still on the board? No, he went.
Doubt
That's
it.
a shame. Yeah, he went right before. Oh, that's a shame. So what's our team? Let's just recap it as we're about to make our last pick here. We have Jared Goff stacked with David Montgomery and Sam Laporta, Devon Achane, and Keenan Allen. So if this was me, I would want probably Christian Watson or Wicks. Like, again, what we were just talking about, an uncorrelated piece that if they go off and you don't have Love and Love doesn't get there, this is, that's the type of team that would win.
Yeah, I'm forgetting this. I'm used to like the primetime slates where it's only like 15,000 people, and this is like 2.5 times that. So that's true. You do need to get a little weird. Okay, thanks.
You got to get nasty.
Reality check.
Yep.
What do you think, Brian? 1 or 2 more of these?
Yeah, let's do it. And if you guys are enjoying the content and you're not subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you're in the chat with us and you like the content and enjoy hanging out with us, make sure you hit the like button. Right now, we're at 8 likes. Really sad. If we can get it to 15 by the end of the stream, that would make me much happier. I can't say don't come in fourth in the dog bowl anymore because the dog bowl is now over. Don't just miss the money on Thanksgiving. Be thankful for us. We're thankful for all of you. Help liking the video is the best way you can help out the channel grow. So thank you all for the support.
So also speaking of coming in fourth in the dog bowl, Rydock, who's in the Discord, he got fourth by 0.2 points.
I bet he didn't hit the like button.
I bet he didn't. He was not happy.
Oh man, JMO, that sucks. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, it felt like you couldn't miss on like those late round receivers last week, and the one that could kill him was the one that he drafted.
He said he laughed out loud. Such a dick.
I'm just saying the facts. If he hit the like button, he'd be going to Dallas. That's all I'm saying.
This team was cooking after because I had all 1 o'clock games. This team was cooking for a while, and then
oh yeah, wow. Neighbors killed you again.
Yep. So
when are we going to learn to stop drafting him? And I'm talking to myself too, because when he falls to like the 3rd round, it's like, ooh, this guy's so good. And then we play, and I'm just like, why did I draft this freaking guy?
I'm also worried that like my process is going to lead me to getting like no Jameson Williams because he just doesn't project that well, but he can just break the slate. So I might have to manually bump him. All right,
Yeah.
What do you want to do here? You want to do the 2 receivers?
Yeah, let's do the receivers. I had a team that had both, and it was very fun to do.
Maybe we could make this a rush team.
This is the Cooper Rush team.
If you like
Rico Dowdle, yeah, Cooper Rush, Rico Dowdle, CeeDee Lamb. If Rico goes, then maybe we'll get Tyrone Tracy and stack him with the Ferg Q tag, which I think is probably the smartest pick on the slate.
Plus, you can also like instantly get like a low-end player if you take Ferg, like when you got the swap, like just because of the way it works out. If you set your ranks like reasonable.
Yep.
And by reasonable, I mean just like don't just put like Schumacher like number 2. You can get like a smoothed out swapped.
I'm not suggesting this. I'm just bringing it up just because.
Say it with your chest.
We want to get nasty. No, I'll say it with my foot. Are we ever gonna get there with like a 2 tight end team? Like, is that like what if Laporta and Jonnu both get there? Like, how many people are gonna have that?
The smaller the slate, the more likely it is to get there.
I'm not suggesting it. I'm just posing the thought to get nasty.
I do Tracy here.
We got 2 picks. We could do Tracy and Swift. Yeah. Revenge game, and a player that we're not sure is going to start. I like it.
Well, I had something to say. Oh, so if here's my question in the Discord that like I didn't get a good answer to. If there's a tight end and a receiver both projected for 9 points, like in there with their mean projection, does the wide receiver have a meaningfully higher ceiling than the tight end if their mean projection is exactly the same?
I would say it depends on who the tight end and receiver are, but in general, I would probably say yes. But I could be convinced if it's a different matchup, like Laporta and Jameson Williams.
Isn't the whole point of the projection to like take into account, like, I don't know.
But we've talked about this before. Like, Jameson Williams is projected for 9, but he'll either get 20 or 3. Like, that's the difference. Laporta could be projected for 10, and he literally might get between 6 and 12.
Okay, yeah, I might look at historicals and chart it out because no one wants to answer that question, and if no one wants to do it, I guess I'll do it myself.
Yeah, this could be a Jared Goff, Sam Laporta team if they fall with Amon Ra.
Yeah.
2 tight ends already. Come on, fall. Don't take Goff. I like we talked about this being a Cooper Rush team, but if Goff Laporta fall, we may have to take them.
I mean, I'm cool with that.
And we get the bring back with the correlation with Swift too.
The thing too is like you do need to consider dupes to some extent in this because, like I said, it's 40,000 people. So like if you have a team that's duped 30 times and you win, like you don't even win. Like, what do you win when you win? Like, it's not that good.
Yeah. Well, that's why I was saying the 2 tight end thing.
Yeah, and like I said, on some of the smaller primetime slates, like it's actually good to take 2 tight ends because they both project well.
Yep. Wow, that team is a good one.
Yeah,
I'll read you after
why
we're
scroll down when you can scroll up?
right. Yeah, I agree. Tuna wants to know which double or triple stacks do you like, if any? I'll let you answer first.
I mean, how do you not like Detroit doubles and triples? Like
Yeah,
every week off just brings everyone.
except himself a lot of the time.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Like,
Yeah,
okay. Jameer Gibbs gets 2 rushing touchdowns. Montgomery gets 2 rushing touchdowns. You know, Amon Ra gets a receiving touchdown, and Jared Goff has 13 points.
I mean, yeah, that's definitely possible. I also like Tua. Like I said, if he's going in the 6th round, like he did in that last draft, like yeah, like that's a-okay with me.
Yeah, mine would probably be Cooper Rush, Rico, CeeDee Lamb. If you want to get a little bit less chalky, because I think that will be somewhat popular, you could also swap out CeeDee Lamb and then get Schoonmaker at the tight end or Q-Tag Ferguson and then swap them out once he is officially out. That could be an interesting one. I'm starting to think though that like maybe we should have like a naked quarterback team where it's just like if there's a quarterback that gets there, it's either going to be Caleb or Jordan Love that wouldn't bring somebody with them. But if you can get other pieces in that game, like I said, Amon Ra and Caleb Williams, and Amon Ra gets there and Caleb has to chase points, it could happen.
Yeah, I mean, it could. It could. Maybe like it's just so hard for me to like think of any of those teams who aren't good at football getting there. Like the Bears haven't been good at football all year. Like, are they really?
Switched offensive coordinators like 2 weeks ago, and Caleb's looked pretty good since then.
That's true.
And
They're
I
also
think in
running
the
it
game,
more.
they're what?
They're also running it more.
Yeah, but he's running it more.
Right. Yeah. That's right. Like,
He himself, which gives you points.
correct. I agree with you. I'm counter arguing myself, Brian.
I'm sorry. I didn't know you were countering yourself.
I just said, but he's running the ball. If you want, we could try to do like a Rico CeeDee Lamb if it falls to us. Yeah, it does. If you want to.
Oh yeah,
it's hard to pass on Jacobs though. You want to
it
do?
is hard to pass. It is hard to pass on Jacobs.
And then see if Rico falls to us.
Yeah. Let's do that. I think when you get to like this 5-6 spot, I think you just have to take the receiver in Lamb just because how I have it ranked and how ETR has it ranked. You can get more running backs in like round 3, but the wide receivers kind of, in my opinion, fall off a cliff after CeeDee Lamb.
Also, can't you see how it's so hard? Like why Tommy DeVito and Cooper Rush are never being drafted? It's just so hard to like pass on the top 4 quarterbacks. Like we did 6 drafts and we've taken them 0 times. So you could just like see what happens.
That's because I took Cooper Rush in every draft I did before. So this is my diversification.
That's fair.
Although there were a couple teams like we were planning on drafting Cooper Rush and then Jared Goff, Sam Laporta double stack with Amon Ra falls to us.
That's like exactly the point. You're always going to convince yourself that a stack with one of those top 4 quarterbacks falls to you. It's like, oh, we get Christian Watson and Jordan Love that fell. Like we have to take that.
That doesn't excite me as much as Laporta and Goff, but we'll see. Like I will make this a Cooper Rush team if you want me to. Wow, Montgomery fall.
Rico fall. Rico no fall.
Rico up.
Like to me, we have to take one of these 2 running backs. Just
yeah. Who do you want? Revenge game or a guy we don't know is going to play?
The guy's playing. We're picking Tyron Tracy.
Okay, we have 2 picks,
and then we're going to make this a Cooper Rush team. So no quarterback.
Yep.
I'm
good with JMO. I think this team's not going to be that unique, though. I'm almost trying to convince myself, like, be unique, but also draft good players. It's a hard line to walk.
Yeah, no, it is hard. That's why I think having like a second screen with like the projections up, so you can kind of like think about how much projection you're giving up in each team.
Mm-hmm.
Because like, I mean, Cooper Rush, like, what does he project for? Like, it's not that much lower than the other quarterbacks. Like, it's
It's
really,
not.
it feels worse than it is.
Cooper Rush, like in my personal projections that I was working on for hours last night, Cooper Rush was my second highest projected quarterback.
Yeah, that might be an input error.
No, I validated the formula.
Okay.
I really think this is a get right. Like Dallas, I'll tell you the story. Dallas just beat Washington in a meaningful game to them. Micah Parsons comes out and says that they have to keep playing with that energy. CeeDee Lamb is getting fed targets. They're playing against a hapless Giants team that every player they've traded, cut, released, whatever, spoken to is going off, not on the team. They have a bad quarterback situation. Every running back they have fumbles the goddamn ball. I'm convinced this Dallas is going to put up 27 points at the minimum.
I mean, the Giants defense. It also like this
It's
is my
trash.
well-known take. It's not trash. They just look like they didn't want to play anymore, which is even
They're
worse than being
done.
trash.
Yeah, they're done. They're done.
No one
They
wanted
don't
to
tackle anyone.
Yeah, it was tough to watch. It really was.
Did you see that Bucky Irving run like 40 yards downfield when they were on the 9-yard line because they just didn't want to tackle him?
Yeah, that was disgusting.
They're going to do the same thing to Rico Dowdle. And Rico Dowdle's usage, he touched the ball 23 times this past week. He didn't get in the end zone, which is why he's not getting drafted that high. But
So what do we want to do here? We're on the clock. We're going Cooper Rush and who at tight end? Do I do Schoonmaker or Komet?
I do think I do like Komet. We haven't taken him yet. I would go Komet.
Nice.
That's a good team.
Tracy fumbles in his own red zone. Rush finds Tolmer in the first minute. Yep.
I could see it happening.
All right, Brian. Any other thoughts before we get out of here?
I'll just recap my flag plants, either positive or negative. I personally will not be drafting any of Tua. I think Achane and Jonnu are serviceable plays, but I'm not taking any wide receivers on the Dolphins, and I'm not taking Tua himself. I think Cooper Rush is being undrafted. The fact that he's being undrafted is fantastic. I hope he stays that way because I'll happily take him in the last round every single time. And I'm still noodling on the thought of having two tight ends like Jonnu and Sam Laporte or Jonnu or Komet. You got for 40,000 people, you got to get really nasty. And I'm wondering if instead of scrolling down for wide receivers like a Kavonte Turpin or Jalen Tolbert, if it's better to just take two very good tight ends that are involved in the offense, maybe not Laporta involved in the offense as much as Jonnu, but Jonnu and Komet, like that could be a team that gets there. And you don't have to worry about like stacking or double stacking in that regard. So I'm curious. I'm very interested to see what happens, in such a large slate with the only 3 games being played.
Yeah, I think the two tight ends is actually interesting. I'm going to do at least a few teams with that. Raspook said take some Turpin, and Tuna said why Turpin? He's not good.
And Tuna, that attitude is exactly why I will be taking some Turpin because other people think that way as well. And we saw what he can do. He can score a touchdown.
But yeah, it seems like after doing some drafts, it seems like my flag plan is probably going to be like the gross quarterbacks, DeVito and Cooper Rush, just because, like I said, it's so easy for people to just like never take them, and I think that's kind of what we saw in our drafts. Like they were pretty much never drafted. I don't think I remember them being drafted once, honestly.
No, we took Rush in the last draft that we just did, but there was no Rush before then.
Yeah,
I was monitoring it.
All right, everyone. Good luck on Thanksgiving. Be sure to sweat your teams in front of your family, and
happy Thanksgiving.
Happy
Hopefully
Thanksgiving.
you guys have a great holiday.
Yeah. Peace.